What it do, y'all, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, and let's get into it. This series is called Soundtrack to My Life. This is basically just going to give you an inside look as to how I became a singer and songwriter. First things first, I am a preacher's grandkid. So above all, gospel has laid an absolutely phenomenal foundation for me. My church was very interactive, so I was able to not only be in choir and become a choir director at a very young age. I think it was about 12. But we were always involved in our community. So we had sister churches we would go and visit and do choir days and performances for. But we also did like plays and talent shows. So I was immersed in the arts from a very young age. Like I remember we went to a Baptist convention, and it was like an over 100 voices choir that we got to participate in. And to this day, it was one of the best times that I've ever had in my life. Shout out to all the people that I met from New York that made me say y'all all the time, showing that Tennessee love. My mom was in a gospel group, and I was basically like her right-hand man, you know what I'm saying, kind of carting things along for her. And it was just a great experience to witness her work ethic. And I think that's where I got it from. It's like that's where the foundation got laid. She did not play games in practice. She did not like pitchy people. Like she wasn't mean about it, but she was like, I got stuff to do, so let's get this in, let's get it right, let's go home. So I think that's where I got my work ethic from, to be prepared when you come to practice, because you want practice to go as smoothly as possible so that you can work out all the real kinks, not just the kinks from not rehearsing. You know what I mean? In the church, I became a choir director at a very young age, and some of the musicians that played and were learning their craft were also my age. So when we were in youth choir, I just remember it being a huge debate for us to even like suggest that we do songs from Kirk Franklin. They wanted us to do hymns. They wanted us to stay very traditional at this point in time. But we fought for it, man. We really did. And I'm glad we did, because it got to a point where we could do covers, and then we could branch out. And then we really started as a group kind of to work on rearranging music. Each minister of music brought something different to the table, and I just found that me and like my musician friends in the church, we would just hover after rehearsal and just trying to learn new licks, man, trying to learn new progressions, and just really playing around with lead vocals for me, because when I was young, yeah, you're in the choir, yeah, you might lead some songs, but you're still trying to find your voice. So I just remember these people being instrumental in me finding my voice, and I'm very, very appreciative. But yeah, it's gospel, gospel, gospel. It paved the way. Kirk Franklin changed my life, and my choir, we had the best time. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to St. Mark Church in Collierville, Tennessee. I love y'all. I miss y'all. Mwah. The second biggest influence in my life was definitely MTV. I was born the year MTV was born. So me and my mom bonded over MTV. She would have it playing when we were cleaning on Saturdays and just going about our day. So all things Madonna, all things Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. Like, we were in love with, oh my gosh, Anita Baker. Are you kidding me? The first video I saw of hers in that white dress, and I'm just like, no one in the world? Are you kidding me? Such great music. Now, as somebody who started out as a soprano and then sometime around high school realized, no, you are very much an alto. Having someone like Anita Baker in my life to just like be that alto force, like she just didn't play no games when it came to her songs. And even though her range extended. Her staying in that pocket, kind of like Toni Braxton, it just, oh, it was just all kinds of buttery goodness. Now, when I was younger, she said that I used to run up to the TV and start dancing whenever Twisted Sister came on. Which makes sense because it's like, if you look at the videos, it's like all this hair and all this fun color and everything's going on. And it's a great hook. We're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. So it's just funny that Twisted Sister as a toddler became like I Love Dee Snider and Ice-T as an adult because of what they did for music and for freedom of speech. I must tell you, out of all the people on MTV, Michael Jackson, can we just take a moment of silence to just... The man's music was amazing. Watching those concerts, watching Thriller, we watched it all together as a family. It was like an event. Whenever he'd have a concert that was like pay-per-view or something, Dad would always buy it, and we would watch it together as a family. One of my first best friends that I ever had in like 5th or 6th grade, Becky Cummings, shout out to you, girl. We bonded over Michael Jackson, and I was like, I thought I was a fan, but she was not playing games. When I went to her house for the first time and saw the Bad album up on her wall, she had the gloves, she had the hat, she had an actual record player so she could play the Michael Jackson vinyl. Like, this girl was like on another level of fandom when it comes to Michael Jackson. So we obviously bonded over that. And I still to this day just appreciate so many different songs, so many different arrangements, his vocal range. Come on, fam. Like, I don't even know. Like, maybe Prince? I don't even know who matches. So, like, those were just major staples. I just remember, like, trying to practice and trying to get as good as these people that I've mentioned. So they are very much a part of my foundation. If you weren't like an 80s baby that went to the skating rink, I don't know what you were doing with your life. Especially back in the day when they like really played like Daz all the time. Jam skate. I specifically remember there was one ride home from the skating rink, and every song that came on the radio I knew and I sang. So my cousins were just getting annoyed. So they kept trying to change the channel to stump me. But every channel, pop, R&B, whatever, I knew the song. So I remember them trying to really stump me by putting on a country station. So I sat there, and by the time the chorus came around the second time, I sang it. Like, and they were just, oh my gosh. Like, I was like, I'm sorry, fam. This is how much I love music. Like, I just can't stay quiet. Any day that I go without singing at least one song is just a day wasted. Other family influences that I had, like, my family is huge, and it's full of preachers and speakers, choir directors, singers, piano players, drummers. It's just how I grew up. So naturally, it's just, when you're around that, that's just what you vibe off of. It's what you love. I specifically remember that my uncles, they always had some kind of poem or Bible passage or something that I guess when they were younger, they had to memorize this stuff. So I just remember whenever we have like family reunions or that type of thing, everyone would kind of gather at my house and be out on the front porch, and they would just go through them, all the old school R&B, a lot of Motown, but they would also have poems. So I just remember it being kind of like a display of all the family talent that we had. And I mean, we would be up late. Those memories will always be foundational because it brought true joy. And I think that's the link when it comes to me and music, is that it brings true joy. Music has a message, and there's something for everyone. It's healing, it's joyous, and I feel like a life without music is just no life at all, really. I want to shout out, though, specifically the bands that my mom and dad and my uncles and aunts all introduced me to. So my parents loved band music. They would listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire. They would listen to Frankie Beverly and the Maze, for sure. I even heard some Sly and the Family Stone, The Temptations, James Brown, the Sugar Hill Gang. And then when I would hang out with like some of my aunts and uncles, they would bring different artists as well, like Jackie Wilson and Bobby Womack. So it was just a plethora of different kinds of music that I was surrounded by. And that is my strong family foundation. So that's part one of Soundtrack to My Life. We are going to move on now to part two, which is Introduction to Rock and Rap Music. Ooh, it's gonna get good. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will check you guys out on the next video. Peace.